Last time on Standard Aerei, we had an epic battle occur for saving the Kingdom of Riverwood as a great darkness came over it. And through this, unfortunately, difficult choices had to be made. And Tio was killed in the battle. And Hank appeared to sacrifice himself for the better good. Since then, it has been a somewhat difficult journey for the party. Pretty quickly, the party returned to the castle and found the king and queen safe, but locked in their chambers. And they were very happy to see Tia and the gang. They embraced her. They recognized that something had been wrong, but were unable to do anything. And then began the hard work of essentially mending what could be mended. A small funeral ceremony was arranged for Tio. Tia, you're standing next to the grave. The ceremony is done. Your mother and father had some beautiful words to say. And then they leave you. And you're standing there along with the rest of your party who are supporting you. In your hand is Tio's ring, which has been given to you by your father. And it's as if the world around you is also mourning. It's a very cloudy day. It's kind of lightly raining. And your brother's headstone just seems so white and so clean and so surreal. And you have your moment to grieve.
I'm assuming I'd have a moment alone at the grave. And I'd probably, kneel down and put, a flower on his bed. And just be like, I wish I could have done more for you. And put the flower there and go back to the crew.
Absolutely. Arger, you see her come back to the grave, from the grave alone. You say anything to her?
Arger, this is a very complicated matter, simply looks at Tia and just simply says, I'm sorry.
Tia is kind of looking down at her feet. She's just like, no, I should be thanking you. I didn't want to have to be the one to do it. And she just takes him in a big hug, which is awkward because she's so tiny.
He embraces the hug, and he kind of thinks for a moment, and he goes, I know.
She just probably sits there, just somberly, it's a good long hug. She doesn't know.
There's a nice little moment. And as you guys are standing there hugging, the clouds kind of open up a little. The rain stops. It's like the air sighs with relief. And we're going to go ahead and fast forward a few weeks. The party is essentially lodged in some of the spare rooms in the palace. Your parents, Tia's parents, talk to her and request essentially that her and her party stay around to try and clean up and reestablish Riverwood a little bit, because there was some damage done during the big storm. There was some damage done by the strange magic item that Hank threw himself at. You find out through the guards and through the grapevine sort of thing that the damage done by the magical item, the area surrounding that, all of the plant life is dead, and that it's actually physically dangerous to go too close to the area where the dead plants are. While it doesn't appear to be spreading anymore, and it's contained from spreading further, it is still very dangerous and very much active. So that whole area is essentially
no man's land,
roped off. Yeah, a no man's land for protection, so part of the city is actually lost.
Wow, that's like a fantasy nuke went off. There's still Fallout.
I was just about to say fantasy Chernobyl.
Yeah,
I was going to say, speaking literally as a druid, would I have been able to repair it? Was there any way to fix it, or was it just it's destroyed?
Anyone who approaches this area has their magic drained.
Oh.
And if you have too much of your magic drained, you die.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
What if you don't perform magic?
Life force.
Okay.
What if the audience claps?
Then Tinkerbell comes to life and it doesn't help the party.
If all the Rivetons clap their hands and believe.
I'm sure Shift has tested this a couple of times, because from what I remember, I'm still Winter. So in my mind, I feel like Sad Shift would maybe just like step into it just to kind of like, and keep in mind, I'm Winter Shift right now, just to kind of feel death in a controlled manner. So he might like just step in to kind of like get a feeling of what that feels like because of his just genuine curiosity about like death and how that.
Awesome. Roll me a Constitution save at disadvantage.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Blue Shift definitely has that Call of the Void feeling when you're
Yeah.
It really
driving to
does.
when you're driving to work and you're just like, I'm going to run this right into the fucking median. I don't care today. it's like, what if I just did? What if I just went left?
Yes, Winter Shift has been working retail for too long.
Oh, God. Winter Shift or Tony?
Yes.
I plead
Yes.
the fifth.
First one, then the other.
Oof, okay. Well, the first one was good. The second roll, not so much.
Great, what do you got?
It's a 6 on the die.
No, that is a failure.
We're gonna have to bury Shift next. Jesus.
Hold on, time out. I got a Constitution modifier. It's not going to be great, but...
That's how they figured out that things die near it.
Right, yeah, they just watch Shift be an idiot.
Let's watch this blue idiot.
They just watched Shift like lean his face into it and black out, and they had to drag him out.
Can I say... can I use my Tides of Chaos?
Would you like to?
Yeah, because my first roll was a 15 plus 5, because my con save modifier is plus 5.
Okay, so you'd only take half of this if you want.
So that half damage sounds good to me.
Sure. So you would have taken 20 necrotic damage, but instead you only take 10.
And then, as I'm obviously feeling that effect, Winter Shift's curiosity quickly dies along with part of his life force, and he runs out of the circle.
Yeah, you also get a flashback to the worst moment of your life again.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Hey, Mom.
Why?
Because it's bad juju, boo.
No, I'm like, we've done this. We've been through this shit before. Shift. How is the dumb caveman not knowing not to do this?
Have you ever just wanted to put your tongue on a 9-volt battery?
No.
Well, Shift has, and then some.
So yeah, they realize pretty quickly that this is not good. So they block off the area. It ends up taking part of the pond, part of the castle. So your family essentially just leaves that area like in ruins and starts kind of bricking up that end of the hallway so no one goes near it. Tia, you do have time to speak to your parents.
I would go talk to and have like a sit-down meeting with them.
Yeah, they arrange a sit-down meeting with you. Everyone else is kind of out for the day doing what they do.
Cool. As we kind of like sit down, I'm like, there's something we have to discuss.
What is it, darling? Your mother says.
Everything that has transpired has happened because of the royal family. With Tio dying twice, him coming back and wanting our kingdom to be as great as it was before, even though it has always been great, it has caused a lot of destruction across our land. I don't think we should be a part of the kingdom anymore. I think we should leave it to the government.
You think our family should go into exile, is what your father says.
Doesn't have to be complete exile, just not a part of the kingdom.
So we should leave our home.
You should be commoners, yeah. We live modestly anyways. It's not much of a lifestyle change.
We do live modestly. We've always considered ourselves to be more humble rulers, more part of the people. But this is our familial home. We've been here for generations and generations. I don't want to leave my home. I hear what you're saying.
It's been generations and generations, Dad. But look at the people out on the streets. They're disheartened by this. There's no point in us trying to uphold the royal family when we've caused literal destruction on our own land.
We, your mother, myself, and you, have not caused any destruction. It was unfortunate what happened with your brother.
I went out looking for Tio. You guys accepted him and impostered me back. I hate to say it so bluntly, but...
I hate to say this so bluntly, but somehow this imposter was wearing your ring and had your face and your voice and your mannerisms. So while you were out in the world being naive, you put our family in danger.
Yeah, that's the point. You guys accepted an imposter. I was naive. We put the kingdom in a place of vulnerability where it didn't need to be. We could have just left this to be a government-run place, and we have caused this destruction.
I'd say mostly Teo has caused this destruction, and the people don't hate us for being fallible. We have been the rulers of this land for some time. If you don't wish to be the next ruler, I understand. We can find someone and appoint them in your place. It's been done before. And if you feel your duty is elsewhere, you will always be our daughter and we love you. But you are more than welcome to step down from your position.
My duty is elsewhere, but I don't think we should be a kingdom anymore.
I don't think that's your say.
I don't think it should be your say either.
I am the king, so it is. Your father looks to you and says, well, I understand your feelings. You're welcome to them. But this has been our tradition for many years, and despite some flaws in the system, obviously, there's no reason that I would ever want to leave our familial home. Our people need us now more than ever as a source of calm in the chaos. I have to, through this position, make right with the people. And you might want to give up and run away, which is what they'll see, by the way. But I won't leave my people to suffer because of a few mistakes.
Is her mom not there?
No, her mom's just sitting there silently, listening.
Mom, what do you think?
I support your father in this. We have a responsibility and we can't just leave it. While I understand your perspective, I'm not saying you're wrong, but your father is also right as well. There's no wrong answer here, but I also feel that we at least need to stay firm until the people tell us they don't want us here any longer. I will be here to support your father and the people for as long as they want me. If the people rise up and say we need to go, we'll go. But until then, we do have a responsibility, especially to clean up the mess of our child or children, in this case.
Cleaning up and doing our part is a good, essential part in this, but I don't think we should be around, and I'm not going to be a part of it. And before they can respond, she just walks away.
Yeah. So that's how that goes down. Your father avoids you, pretty much, for the remainder of the evening.
That's fair.
Boy.
So while Tia is having this very intense conversation with her parents, Arger is in the yard, playing with Barkley.
Yay, Barkley.
He's having a nice-ass time. It's been a stressful few weeks. You're throwing what to most people would be like the entirety of a tree for Barkley to fetch.
Yep, that sounds like my boy.
And it's beautiful here. It's nice, it's relaxing, kind of reminds you of home. The gardens are really well manicured. You know, it's a lot fancier than home, but it reminds you of when you would travel to the green with your family. And as you're out here relaxing, give me a perception check.
Yes, ma'am. That's a dirty 20.
You notice as you're walking by some flower beds that some of the flowers seem almost as if as you pass them, as if they're blooming as you pass them.
Is this the same area that has the dead zone? Or I'm assuming I'm on a
No,
different side of the park.
you're in the garden and it's safe away from the dead zone.
Okay. Taking my big trunk, I sniff the flowers.
They smell very nice. They smell very pretty. And they bring you like a deep sense of comfort. And for a second, you almost feel as if like a motherly touch is on your shoulder. And then it's gone. And it has that same sensation. You don't hear a voice, but it has that same sensation, and it brings you back to the moment of when, just before you were frozen in the ice. That same energy. And then it's gone. A small butterfly kind of flutters up from the flower bed and lands on your trunk. And it's a beautiful, peaceful moment. And it feels deeply healing.
He's got nothing. He enjoys the moment.
Okay. Okay. And it's at that moment you hear the doors to the balcony from the castle open. You can see the king kind of storm out. He looks aggravated. His wife's not too far behind him, and they're kind of talking in quiet voices, like, to themselves on this balcony outside. He looks like he's kind of getting some air. But the king and queen are present in the garden.
I can clearly tell they're pissed.
I mean, you can you can give me an insight check. Let's see how good Arger is.
Why not? He's a dum-dum. That's a 5.
You have no idea that they're mad. Seem fine to you. Oh, look, the king and queen.
Let's see what happens here. All right. Arger would approach the king and queen very timidly because he knows they're a big deal. He doesn't really understand what princesses, kings, and queens are.
I mean, you're hard to miss, so they pretty immediately stop talking and look at you. And the king kind of adjusts his lapel. And he goes, Arger, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You're with our daughter's friends.
Yes, about that. I don't know if she informed you, but I'm the reason Tio is not here.
The details were not made clear to us, aside from the fact he had essentially committed treason, and by rights, he would have been executed anyway.
That being said, I know your parents, and I do want to apologize to you.
You have nothing to apologize for. Tia's mother kind of puts a hand on his shoulder because he looks like his brows are furrowed.
Yeah.
He kind of seems strained. And the queen puts a hand on his shoulder and says, we already mourned our son. Having him come back and then die again, we don't have much left. But you don't owe us anything. We owe you a debt of gratitude for saving our kingdom and for looking after our daughter. She walks over to Arger and she grabs his hand, and she's tiny.
Yes.
But she's like tiny and regal, and she looks at him and she says, I need you to promise me something as a mother.
Whatever it is.
I need you to protect my daughter and don't let the same fate fall on her as her brother.
I look to the queen and I go,
If that fate fell upon her, my life is forfeit.
She takes a step back and she says, kneel.
I kneel, doing as I'm told.
She looks over at the king. The king looks like brows raised. But he doesn't say anything. And she gestures at him like a gimme kind of gesture.
Yeah, Arger's still confused. He doesn't know what any of this means.
He has like a ceremonial sword at his hip.
Arger leans back like,
Oh, they're pissed.
He pulls it out. He holds the blade flat and offers it to his wife. His wife takes it gently. She gently looks at you and she says, I know you are not aware of our customs as you are from very far away. I'm going to tap your shoulder with this and grant you this responsibility. Do you accept?
If that responsibility is protect Tia, then I already accept.
Good. Hold still. And she taps one shoulder, then the other, and says, I knight you, Sir Arger of Riverwood. And you are now in charge of looking after Princess Tia. She may renounce her throne, and in that case, you will also forfeit your title. But for now, it is now your royal duty to protect her.
Yes, ma'am?
You may rise.
he stands up.
And she gives the saber back to her husband. Her husband kind of looks more amused than anything. And he goes, always something up your sleeve, don't you, darling? And she just smiles very coyly at him. And she says, always.
He knows that it's a big deal. He knows it's an honor, but he's still very, very confused of what it exactly means.
She told you, basically, you have this
I'm her
duty
protector.
now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's interpreting. He looks and he says to both of them, he goes,
I'll protect her with my life. May I make one small request? There was a young boy that helped us. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know his situation. His name is Thomas.
Ah, we know Thomas. We were made aware of Thomas. The young lad who lost his leg. Yes. We have custom ordered a leg. We have been told that it is possible that he can achieve whatever goals and aspirations he has, and that he may actually function as any other normal Riverton would.
and then Arger kind of just is like taken aback for a moment because he's like, new leg? What is that? He's processing that, but he just goes,
I'm already speechless about that. All I could say is he's a good kid. He risked his life for us. He's braver than anyone I've met, including myself. You're lucky to have him.
Roll me an insight check.
That is a 10.
Okay, it's not super great. You're very focused on telling them this truth. And it's hard to read. Like, these people are practiced at not showing anything very large. So it's hard to read, but you see that they listen to you, they hear you, they nod in appreciation, they say yes. Amply noted. Thank you, Arger.
Arger, again, bows awkwardly and says,
I will leave you to your business.
As you were.
he kind of stumbles away, like, awkwardly, like,
That's new. Okay.
As you stumble back down into the garden, Barkley comes bounding up to you, dragging this fucking tree stump that you've been throwing for him.
Hey!
He's literally dragging it with his whole body, but he's so excited he wants you to throw it again.
I do exactly that as long as I got the space and we're not in anyone's way. I absolutely do that.
Lovely. Sapala, as everyone else is doing their various duties, you decided that you wanted to go to the local orphanage to help rebuild and essentially give back to the community because, you know, things have been a little heavy and you've been looking for an outlet of good. Kids are, you know, playing. They seem oblivious to the fact that half of the orphanage is, like, collapsed. They don't care. They're having a good time. They feel like they're camping because they have little tents set up for them instead for the meanwhile. They think it's the shit. And Thomas is there because that's his home. He hobbles over to you. He's got crutches. And he is missing a leg from the knee down. But he's in good spirits. And he sees you, and he looks thrilled to see you, and he's like, Sapala, I'm so happy to see you. They told me you'd be coming. Come over here, I want to show you my tent. I built it myself. And he kind of, like, even though he's got crutches, he kind of, like, grabs you with one hand and, like, limps you over there to show you the tent he did himself. It is very dilapidated, and he looks like he couldn't be fucking prouder of it.
Oh, bless his heart. Sapala would just look at it and just smile and tell him, wow, this is really good. I've never seen a tent before.
Right, tents are cool. Oh, you should go in. It's real cool. You climb into the tent, and then you sleep on the ground like a soldier.
I've slept in the ground a lot. He'll just, like, crawl in. I assume it's very small.
It's small. It smells like canvas. There's, like, a little candle stub in there that looks like he's been using it at night. There's, like, a small pile of balled up socks, like, in a corner. And you can see that, like, one of them has been sorted out, so it's just 1 foot. And then the other one, it looks like he's made them into sock puppets.
Oh, so cute.
And he goes, I'm making those for the littler kids, because I don't need those ones.
He just kind of picks them up and kind of looks at them. Oh, wow, these are really cute.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want, we could do something nice for the other kids if you wanted.
I do want that. I'm the big brother here.
Sure. Okay, let's think. How about this? Thomas, what's, like, a really fun animal or something? Like, something that kids always wanted to see here.
Kids here want to see dragons. Always dragons.
I don't think I could do dragons. I could do lots of puppies or something like that, or, like...
Puppies are good. All the knights around here, they all ride giant dogs. That's our mounts here. Everyone wants a dog.
I could let them play with the dog for about an hour or so, if you want, a bunch of them.
That would be great. Do you know a dog? You probably shouldn't take Barkley without Gia's permission.
Okay, this is what's going to happen then. Sapala is going to say that he can summon, like, a bunch of, like, riding mounts for, like, an hour for, like, the kids to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll get all the kids together and just ask them, like, different breeds of dogs or something that's different or something they've always wanted to see for, like, the riding mastiffs or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, some of them are like, I want a husky, I want to see a German shepherd, I want a golden retriever. One of them goes, I want a dog that looks like Princess Tia's dog. Like,
out of pure curiosity, are there any kids that are, like, isolated from the others or, like, not being like socializing, like they're like the kids like purposely isolate them?
No, funny enough, with this place, if anyone seems like they're out of sorts, Thomas is right there.
Okay.
When he said, "I am the big brother of this place," he meant it genuinely. He is literally he appears to be the oldest orphan here. Some of the smaller ones are like, they don't have legs yet because they're tadpoles.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So, this is getting very amphibia. I like it.
Some of them still have tails,
Oh my god.
So adorable. Yeah. In that case, I will just cast a conjure animals and conjure like as many different breeds of riding dogs as I can.
Sure. For fun, give me a nature check. See how many types of dogs Sapala's actually ever seen, and how many can happen.
Okay, I am very happy with this because that's a nat 20.
Nice.
Oh, blah, 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 blah.
You've seen a lot of these dogs only in books, but you somehow manage to conjure so many different breeds. Like any dog that a kid asks you for, you're just on it.
Well, now that the kids are distracted with the dogs, I'd like to give a special thanks to our God tier patrons, Lucky Potatoes, Dom and Heather Cruz, Aaron Gibbs, and Daniel Barton. If you want to support Standard Array, visit patreon.com/fantasybanjo. Now, if excuse me, I have to go play with some really cute dogs.
And these kids have the best fucking day of their life. Thomas looks thrilled. He is up on the back of a enormous husky dog, and he has trouble like staying on the mount because he's literally only got one leg. But he really wants that. Like he's up there. Let me see how he does here. He manages. Like he's kind of falling a little to the side that doesn't have legs, but he holds on with his little hands.
My lord. I'll give him guidance.
You can't go super fast, but you can see it. Like it's still his dream.
Oh. So Paula just watches and really is glad for him, but at the same time it's just like, oh, this kills me inside slightly. And deeply is beginning a sub-quest to see if there's anything he can ever figure out or cast to like fix his leg or like grow him back a new leg. Or find some kind of replacement part for him.
So you watch him for a second. He gets off and he kind of plops one of the tadpoles up there. Have you ever seen like a dad put a little kid on a pony?
Yeah.
That's kind of the situation here where he's got his hand on the kid and he's got like one arm on a crutch and he's just walking the dog slowly so the kid feels like they're riding. And he looks at you and he says, "Oh, did I tell you the king and queen gave me a special gift?
No, what did they give you?
Someone is coming to town and she says she can make me a new leg."
Really?
That's the word. I haven't met her and I don't know who it is, but they say that she's very talented.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So maybe I can still be a knight. Maybe.
You can definitely still be a knight.
And he looks sad for a second. He's like, "But right now I can't. But it'll be okay. Because then I can still look after these little people." And he wanders off to help.
My heart is so full of love right now at Rainbows. I can't.
I know. But yeah, you have a very nice day at the orphanage. They invite you to stay for dinner. And the caretakers are all very kind. And it's a very beautiful day. You also, during these couple weeks that you're there, I assume take the time to attune to the item that you took off of Rain.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm going to send you the deets on this, but this item is something that I made myself for her specifically. I don't often build items, but when I do, I make sure they're fun, so...
Don't worry, if it's overpowered, I won't mention it at all to get it adjusted. I'll just keep it as is.
I call it the Cloak of Hidden Pockets. It's got the ability to transmute one large item, 2 medium items, or 3 small items, and incorporate it into itself, so the item can be pocketed or retrieved.
Oh.
If the cloak's pierced or torn, the items will spill out. It requires attunement, and you realize that the time that you looked at her to try and determine any kind of magic, and you sensed the transmutation magic, that this was the item that was giving off that magic.
It's like a cloak of holding.
It's like a cloak of holding.
Is it like that magic item that like it's patches of stuff and you just pull it off and it pops out, but it's the reverse? It just makes things into patches to store them?
It almost like if you touch whatever item you want to pocket it, the item then just becomes part of the cloak and you wouldn't even know it was there.
Oh, that's interesting.
So only the person who put it there knows it's there, and you have to use a command word to get it out, but if the cloak is pierced, those items will spill out.
Okay.
Moving on, shift. Evening rolls around. We'll say it's probably a couple weeks since you guys have all been there. And you've been doing your best to try and help restore things, pick stuff up, do as you're instructed, whatever's happening for that time. And you have a room to yourself. The king and queen have been really wonderful about giving everyone their own kind of space. And you're in your trance for the evening. And usually when you're in a trance, you just kind of do that creepy, cracky thing. But tonight, you find yourself in a nostalgic landscape. You're sitting on a stump in the Feywild, next to your parents' house, a house you haven't seen for hundreds of years. You're in the spring side of the Feywild. You can hear the river as if you're really there. And you hear a voice, familiar, but childlike somehow. Well, we took your time getting here. And you open your eyes, and sitting across from you, where your father usually would sit, is a tiny young woman. She's wearing an oversized sweater that has a big A on it, that looks like it's been bedazzled with something shiny, maybe like metal plates. It covers most of her body. She can't be more than 12 or 13, but she's like small and spindly. She's got long dark hair and big eyes, and she's wearing like a matching hairpiece. And she looks at you and she says, "You know, I did warn you about the pickpockets."
Ah, yes, Avandra. Yes, you did. Do me a favor next time. When you provide a message, maybe just a little more clarity.
But where's the fun in that?
Fun, yes. Yes, what we've been through has been much fun.
Yeah, sometimes.
Man, you're just not really good at this sarcasm thing. Anyways, now that it's over, that's in the past.
Just that part, yes, that's in the past.
Yes, the part where we saved, the universe and, we kind of essentially stopped the destruction of all
you think you saved the universe?
Yeah.
You think you're done?
I figured that was the... Oh, right. There's more. There's always more.
Unfortunately, there's often more, yes, but it's gonna be fun.
I really don't like when you use that word.
I think you just need to loosen up.
I need to clarify something before we go on. Anytime Shift is in a trance, he always sees himself as Spring Shift. So his skin is green, his hair is green, his eyes are green. Mm-hmm. But when she says that, all of those colors immediately flare red for a second before he can master himself again. Yes, fun. It's all going to be fun.
Look, I know it's been a little difficult. But I am working on your problem. And it's a challenging problem. It is an interesting puzzle for sure. So many threads to pull.
Yes, I'm sure it's much fun.
It can be. Your fun, watching you and your friends, is pretty fun.
Friends, that's a very strong word.
No, I'd say you're becoming friends. Whether or not you want to accept that, I guess, is your own prerogative. But, and then she looks over at you and she reaches over and boops your nose and goes, boop.
As soon as he gets his nose booped, the sarcastic deadpan look turns into a more genuine, serious look. And Shift says, "Okay, the journey's not quite finished yet. I can accept that. But if you aren't here to help me with my immediate problem, maybe you can help me with something else."
Sure, maybe I can.
I have a question.
I might have an answer. Questions are good.
Let's hope, because this question has been plaguing me for a very long time now, and due to your assistance with keeping me grounded with this same group for as long as I have ever been anywhere, this question only becomes more difficult to answer. I see my group, my friends. I see them interact with people around them, and I see how much they care about these people. I see how much they care about that reckless Ribbiton child. I see how much they care about the brother that almost tried to destroy everything. I see how much they care for these people. And then I quickly realize that I don't. Here's my question. For someone who's, well, for the only person who's ever dealt with inconsistency, alteration, considering you're the goddess of change, I figured you would be the best person to ask. In all of the time you've been in existence, has the lack of consistency ever made you think that none of it was worth it? Now I know, before you answer that question, I know that sounds very blue of me, but you have to understand that despite their exaggerations, those versions of me are still me, and they still hold the same concerns that I hold. And one of my biggest concerns is that this self-defense mechanism that I built over the past 100 years of not caring about anything is going to end up causing problems. Specifically, if I ever see my parents again, I'm not going to care. I need to know how you dealt with this life and still care about people. Because I feel like I've lost the ability to.
That is an interesting thing that you've asked me. She kind of gets up and she folds her hands. She walks behind a tree for a second, and when she comes out the other side, she's actually in her young woman form, where she has long dark hair. She's wearing the same color sweater, but it now fits her correctly. She's got like red lipstick on. And she looks at you and she goes, well, I think the difference between you and I, Shift, is literally just a matter of perspective. Because you see it easier to not care about the people around you because they might not always be there. But I see it as being more important to care about those people because they might not always be there. Every moment that I experience, I hold on to as tightly as I can because I know it's going to change. If there is one thing in this world, one thing that's absolutely certain, it's always change. Always comes back to change, Shift. Seasons, tides, aging, all these things change. Life, death, all of them are intertwined. Every moment could be the last moment you experience something. And that's why they're so precious.
That is... Coming from someone of your stature, that is relieving to hear, because it means that there still may be hope for me.
There was always hope. And she comes over and she puts her hand on your head, and on your cheek, affectionately. She goes, there was always hope because I've always been here. I won't let you lose that hope. And when I think you are, I'm going to show up again and mess with you to remind you how important it is to care.
Shift chuckles a little bit and he's like, so then I'll see you next week?
Maybe. Maybe in your dreams. And she does a little shimmy. She shimmies on up to you, kisses you on your nose, and you wake up, and from the tip of your nose, it starts to thaw and change from blue to green, as if you have been defrosted.
Aww.
You realize that you're literally physically, without having to plane shift, now spring.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do that.
Tia, you're in your room. It's a couple days after you've had that blowout with your parents. And you hear a knock at the door.
I assume that they would either come in, but I'll be like, come in!
Door opens, and your mother is standing there. And she looks at you, and she says, "May I have a moment of your time?"
Of course.
So your mother kind of plunks herself on your bed and then pats the bed next to her so you'll sit there.
I sit next to her.
And she wraps an arm around you, like when you were a kid. And she goes, "I know your father is difficult, and I know you don't agree. But I think you should just hold on to the title, at least for now. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to take over for a while. We're going to spend some time putting the kingdom back to rights. And when it is your turn, then you can make the decision. But while emotions are high, I don't think it's a good idea to make any rash decisions right now. And if the people decide that they no longer need us as figures of leadership, so be it. But this is a decision that we're all taking lightly. And I apologize that your father was so rash about it.
It seems he hasn't learned.
It's not that. You renouncing the kingdom is to him like you renouncing him, because this is his legacy to you. You essentially said to your father, "I don't want anything to do with what you've built here." That's what he heard, and I know that is not what you meant. I hear you. But I think this is not a decision to be taken lightly. And I think you should keep your title for a little. Keep your ring to yourself. And, let Sir Archer look after you in battle.
Sir?
I may or may not have taken some liberties to make sure that my daughter was safe on the road and on her travels, since she's my only remaining living child.
She sits there, she chuckles a little bit.
And your father was amused.
Mom,
so...
I love Archer, but you chose the dumb one.
But the dumb ones are the ones that make the best meat shields. That's why I married your father.
Oh, shit!
Oh, that's good. I like that.
And she smiles, like, you know that she's kind of joking, because your father's not an idiot.
Yeah. She sits there, she goes, he did try to protect me before by claiming he was my brother.
I mean, he has a good heart. And sometimes heart is all you need. And she looks at you, and she touches her forehead to your forehead. And she says, "Don't abandon us yet, my little one."
She kind of, holds her mom's hand, and she's like, "I can keep the title for a little bit longer, but if the people don't want it, we're done. And I cannot promise that I'll keep royalty around when it is my turn."
And if the people do want it?
It'll be discussed along with the parliament. We'll come to something that is agreeable to the entire kingdom.
That is fair. One day you will make a most wise queen. Just like your mom.
She's holding Tia's ring and she goes, "Since we were talking about Ardra, I was kind of thinking of giving this to him, as he's been like a brother and he kept me from having to do the final blow."
Do as you wish, but give it to me first. Let me see.
Of course, hands it over.
She takes it, she reaches into her, essentially, bosom and pulls out a knife, and then very carefully she scratches across the top, very distinctly, a big X. And she goes, "Now you can."
That's fair. Shows it wasn't... I get it.
And she kisses you and she says, "Well, now that that's settled, you should come down for dessert. We're having fly pancakes."
Yes! Happily goes downstairs.
And you go downstairs and enjoy some fly pancakes. And this is where I'm going to hand the reins over, as it were, to the incoming DM.
So, about another day or so passes, and I was told that Tia would like to have some words with Aerei.
Yes.
Aerei has essentially been, I don't want to say sequestered, but or isolated but she has been in her room a lot. Mainly because Hank has, obviously not been doing so well. One notable thing is that Hank has been asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Asleep as a bird?
Asleep as a bird. Tia, you would know where Ari's room is if you wanted to have that conversation with her.
Yeah, I go and I knock on the door.
Alright, you hear a knock on the door.
Ari kind of lifts her head. She looks down. She's essentially got Hank. She's made a nest for him out of some of the pillows. She looks at him, checks that he's fine, nods to herself, says, "I am coming," and then closes the door, opens it very slowly, cautiously. "Oh, hello, Miss Tia. How are you?"
Hi, I'm good. Can I come in?
"Yes, you may."
And I come in and I sit on the bed and assume that you're gonna sit with me.
"Just be careful not to jostle him."
Yeah, I'll do that. I kind of look over, but not really wanting to look at him quite yet.
At a glance, he just looks like a sleeping bird. Whereas Ari tended to be nuzzled up and everything, Hank looks like he fell out of the sky. But peacefully, almost. Like he peacefully hit the sidewalk.
Every day when you're walking down the street and a raven drops out of the sky.
A peaceful fall,
On his back, one wing, over breast, one wing just, extended out, head cricked back.
Right.
Oh, God.
I never imagined this is how he'd be sleeping.
She wanders over, she looks, she kind of gently strokes his feathers, and then she looks at you and says, "What is that I can help you with? Are you okay?"
I wanted to come in and check in on you. I know that we've really only known you as a bird, but it's kind of nice seeing you as a person, and I don't think anybody's checked in on you, and I wanted to see how you're doing.
"Oh, that is very kind of you. Thank you. I am well. I am just making sure that Hank is well, and if you need me, I am here for you as well."
Can I do an insight check to see if she's actually doing well?
Yes, you may.
That is a 17.
Are you trying to hide at all?
Probably. Let me roll a deception
I was going to say,
here.
go ahead and roll a deception then.
Did you bring Barkley for emotional support?
No, I would have came alone.
He's playing with me right
Barkley's with Archer.
Yeah, in the background of a window, you could see Barkley trying to tug a tree away from Archer. But, Archer clearly has the advantage.
She got a 17.
Oh, so we tied.
The message is mixed. She says, "Yeah, I'm fine." And it's almost like a stonewall feeling, where it's someone says, "How are you doing?" And they just reply, "Good." That awkward pause, that pregnant feeling in the middle of it is the exact feeling that you get after she answers.
Oh, you mean the feeling maybe she isn't used to being human?
like the feeling there's more behind it, maybe, but it's so uncomfortable that's you maybe not want to push further, unless you want to push further.
I kind of grab her hand into mine.
She lets you. Yeah, she just kind of looks at you curiously.
I don't know if you're actually good or not, but I want to make sure that you're aware he didn't just sacrifice himself for you, but for a lot of people. And if that you're having a hard time with this, I am here for you. I am terribly upset to see him as a bird too, but I am happy that you are here as well.
I am aware he saved many people. This is not the first time he has saved many people. And it is not the first time I have failed to protect him. But I am fine.
I do not see it as you failing. I see it as him excelling at being stupid.
If a bird can mumble in his sleep, that's what you hear from Hank. Just caw.
She's you can tell she wants to laugh, but she's just not super comfortable yet, so she just kind of puts her hand over her mouth, kind of like when you see a mom and their kid falls, but they don't want to traumatize their kid by laughing at them, so they just put their hand in front of their face, Yes. Well, honestly, it was the smartest thing to do. I was just not as quick as he was. He had more energy than I did, to be fair.
I just don't want you to be hard on yourself. The situation was far bigger than we could have thought.
Situation, yes, was overwhelming. But I am not hard on myself. Are you hard on yourself about what happened to your brother?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
That is understandable. Grief is natural in times like these.
Just like feeling the kind of awkward, like, there's not an actual conversation going on, but Tia, this is like the closest she has to Hank.
Yeah, like what you're getting, the grief is a natural thing to you probably would feel a lot like something she said a lot.
Yeah. I just pull you in for a big hug.
She probably wouldn't know how to react. She kind of is like weird and stiff about it, but then she like also hugs back, but it's like one of those like when you hug a teacher kind of thing, and they like
she just hugs you tighter because she knows that it's just awkward and she doesn't care.
If anyone would like to walk in on this awkward scene, you may.
Do we all want to be there? Do we want all of us to be there?
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah, all three of us.
I was like, yeah, fuck it.
All right.
There's the awkward, like, teacher, like, it's okay to be sad hug.
Yeah.
And when Aerei looks up in the doorway, since it was left open by Tia, you can see Sapala, Arger, and Shift all staring at you.
Aerei just kind of blankly stares back at them. She tries to do a smile because she feels like that'll be welcoming.
Roll a performance check.
Oh, please be bad. Just straight out of Terminator 2 when he tries to smile.
I got a 1!
Oh my god, fail skill the crap out of this. This is amazing.
Oh, it's good to be back.
This is fantastic. This is everything we want from this next coming season. I love it.
We just love you.
Welcome to the team.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Alrighty. So I rolled a 82 on the fail scale.
Holy shit.
Great, good, yeah. She looks like she's gonna vomit or something.
Aerei, let's establish something. The key to charisma is that you can pretty much turn any situation into a good situation. Aerei seems to not be able to express this ability, as it's like when a kid goes up on a talent show and has to do a talent and they're nervous, so they don't do anything, which makes the audience stare at them more, which makes them also lock up and freeze more. It's that exponential level of awkwardness as she slowly cracks a smile. But it almost looks like not genuine. Like it's that like, oh, you just see someone in the office smile of like,
Shift just like shakes his head and goes, Avandra, I am trying to care right now. And then he just face steps out of the hallway.
We'll say that Shift just disappears from the scene with that. We won't make him roll. I feel like it's even better not knowing what he just changed into.
Mysterious.
I think Sapala seeing this awkward hug between the two of them would join in, just being like, okay, we're awkward hugging. So he just kind of like walks in and
so
like,
much worse.
and like kind of just like, oh, we're doing a group hug, and he kind of like does awkwardly, brings his arms around for an awkward hug, and just goes, is this what we're doing now?
I warmly bring Sapala into this, just like, yes.
Oh, if Archer sees this, I mean, it's bull rush hug time.
Shift, come back, we're doing hugs.
Oh, I guess I have to roll for season now.
Yes.
God damn it, Billy.
Please be Sad Shift. I love Sad Shift.
So Shift hears Sapala call from the room and just kind of like shaggies into the hallway, and his skin is blue, his hair is blue, his eyes are blue, and he looks at I guess you would call it a group hug?
With I imagine Aerei is like in the middle, like.
Yeah, there's a thing called light as a feather, stiff as a board. Aerei is stiff as a board, light as a board.
So even though group hugs aren't really his style, he does flash back to when he got a group hug from the group as Winter Shift. And he's really trying to do what Avandra has been challenging him to do. And the thing that's made all of this easier is seeing Aerei as awkward as she is. So as Winter Shift approaches this group hug, arms out, just as awkward as Aerei is, he's just focusing on Ari's awkwardness, and that is what's driving him forward as he kind of joins the group. Because that's the only thing that's sustaining him at this point.
Yes!
I feel like Aerei would just be like, oh, this is kind.
I just came to give you some good berries as a gift for joining the group, but I'm glad we ended up in a group hug. This is good team building. This is good.
Oh, is it?
Yes, I love you guys.
I am unfamiliar with building teams. We were always just a 2-person thing.
2 people is a team.
2 people as a team, you just have more people now.
Yes. She just like looks around, counts everybody, and goes, yes.
When you count everyone, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What?
Including herself?
Standing in the doorway, you see Jeffrey awkwardly standing, who, as you may remember, is Tia's butler.
Oh, hi, Jeffrey. You want a hug?
No, I'm quite all right, ma'am. I could come back. You have a visitor, but I can. You take your.
I feel like she's looking. I feel like Aerei is looking at Jeffrey like, please fucking help me.
Making me roll insight. Yeah, he gets a 20 on the insight.
Oh my god.
But does he care? That's the problem.
That is another question itself. But he takes a moment and just kind of digests the scene and just goes, right, Miss Tia, you still have a guest, so at your leisure.
Aerei turns to Tia and goes, you should not be rude and you should greet your guests. We could all go with you.
I think moving in a group hug would be very hard.
That is accurate.
Maybe we don't move in a group hug. I love you guys. If you want to come, sure. I don't know who the guest is.
I go with Tia if she's going somewhere. I am her protector.
So Paula will follow too.
I'm assuming Barkley's behind Arger, but I jump up on to Arger. And I whisper in his ear, I got a present for you later.
Ooh, I like presents.
We follow Jeffrey and party down the hall into a sort of parlor area in the kingdom. You know it in your home as a greeting area for guests and stuff like that. Usually dignitaries, usually people of great importance, but you don't see, I mean, maybe to you, this person would be of great importance, but someone that's a little bit more of a commoner than usual. She has little pink ears, a big furry face, and you recognize her as Spectacular Song.
Song!
Tia!
I just run over and I give her a big hug.
You get squeezed.
As hard as she's squeezing, I squeeze harder, like a hug battle.
Yeah. The hug battle pursues. She does the thing where she tries to lean back and lift you up a little bit, and then she gives way. It is a big ol' squeeze.
What are you doing here?
She goes, multiple things. One, I have been... Oh boy, where to start? We should sit down. There's a lot.
Okay, I sit next to her and allow everybody to sit wherever they want.
Yep, there's ample seating arrangement. It's, those nice, old school, uncomfortable couches. The ones I'm talking about with the hard backs.
Yeah, I imagine Aerei is just cradling the sleeping Hank in wrapped in a pillowcase like a baby, just with one arm.
I feel like Sapala would be the person who just sits in the nice furniture cross-legged and clearly not understanding the appropriateness of this furniture.
Shift just finds the darkest corner that he can stand in and glooms.
There's literally a chair with a little one of those bedside curtains.
Yeah.
So it casts a little shade in it, and he just sits in his little mosquito netting kind of chair.
I feel like Aerei would almost look like she belonged in one of these chairs. she sits really tall and regal, like, naturally, but also cradling a bird like a baby.
Song goes, so, it's been a very long month for me. After you guys went to base your brother and do all those type of things, Jonathan took a unannounced vacation. And he didn't make rent. And so I was in his office looking through all of his paperwork, mounds and mounds of paperwork. She kind of gets like this 30-yard stare when she talks about the paperwork. She goes, I found multiple things, diagrams, scroll spells, this and that. Turns out that one of my scholarships to Riverwood's Magic Academy were in there. And I was accepted 15 months ago.
Oh.
Just in the corner, you hear like a whisper, just, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, God.
You're going to a magic academy. That's amazing.
We need more magic people.
I don't know what a magic academy is, but 15 months is a long time to not get something.
It is. So, I didn't find rent, and we had to close down the shop. But I reached out to the Magic Academy, and it turns out that they're very interested in having any magic users that know how to use equipment to come to Riverwood. And I couldn't remember if you guys were going to Riverdale next door or Riverwood, but it turns out that it was Riverwood, and when I heard that you were here, I decided to join.
That's great.
Yeah. It's like I'm supposed to be helping investigate a disturbance?
Yeah, you can call it that.
Yeah. About that.
It was rather disturbing.
Oh. Did you do it? And she like just looks like very like sheepishly and quietly like at the group like
No.
I look at her and I go, it has to do with Tio. He technically did it.
Oh.
And I guess somebody who looked like me, but it wasn't me.
But we stopped it.
But we stopped it.
Oh, that's good.
We stopped part of it.
Oh, yes. Only part of it.
What?
You mean it's... We what? Paused it? We didn't just...
Well, there were multiple artifacts, right? And we technically only destroyed one. So, you know.
We did not destroy that artifact, technically. That artifact is actually just, slowed.
Slowed.
Yes, Hank put all of his energy into slowing the progression of the necrotic energy that we're feeding out of that item. I thought this was standard knowledge. I am very sorry for not informing you sooner.
It was not, but that's good to know now. But how much time did he buy us, then?
I think that's what we're here to figure out. What's everyone's passive insights at the table?
17.
14.
11?
Also 11.
14.
Perfect. So anyone with over a 10 could see like a look of dread going over Song's face of like her first day on the job and she's over her head.
Oh, this is delicious.
She goes, maybe I'll focus on smaller jobs before I get right into studying with those folks.
That would be wise.
But if you could keep an ear on what they're learning and maybe send us a note, that will be helpful.
Oh, absolutely. She goes, I should have plenty of time for that because I'm making a prosthetic.
Wait, you're the one that's here to make the prosthetic?
Yeah, I heard it's a left leg. No, right leg. No, left. I'm gonna have to check my notes.
Please tell me you can actually make the leg, though.
She goes, oh, yeah, no, it's pretty easy.
Okay. It's for one of my future knights.
Oh, did you become a queen? And she gets, like, really excited, like...
Okay, I'm still a princess. Not queen yet. But I'm hoping this little Riverton becomes a knight because he's fucking awesome!
She goes, oh, I'll make him the best leg possible.
Good.
She goes, it's my first time making Riverton leg, but nothing, yeah, I've got a knack for these things. But yeah, when I was cleaning out his office, I found a bunch of weird things.
Oh?
Like?
Weird, like more trash circles?
No, they were more like, you know those contracts that like, he had you guys doing?
Yeah?
Well, usually, like, when you do a contract, or when I've done a contract in the past, you know, because every now and then we had to send someone out for a magic item, or this or that, ingredients, such and such. We usually just, you know, had the point of, like, get us the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why would he have maps to where they're going?
So if he had the map for the deliveries, that means he must have lied before, but that means he must have sent the request in the first place?
Well, that's what it looks like, because, you know, we had the ones that he gave you, but then there was multiple ones that were addressed from him before.
Do you have copies of those?
Yeah, I organized them. And she hands you, like, this big, puffy binder that is really decked out in glitter and everything like that, and it's like, it actually, like, in gold embroider, kind of says, Gonathan's stuff.
Oh, very ring. Good choice.
And there is, like, little post-it notes sticking out of it, but it is massive. It is like phone book.
I think Gonathan is a lot more dangerous than he was led to believe. Oh boy. And I think we have more work to do. You said Gonathan was taking an abrupt vacation. Did he say where he was going?
He said that he was going out of continent. Yeah, if you look actually in page 296.
It's Apollo like throws the binder open and realizes like in the 200s this is probably not even halfway. And he's like, oh, this is thorough. Okay.
You'll see that he has a receipt for passageway to Stas.
Then it looks like we're going to Stas.
Thank you for tuning in to Standard Array. Help our show grow by leaving us a review on your podcast player of choice and sharing us with your friends, players, and DMs. Also, please make sure to follow us on social media or on our Discord server for our next adventure. Links are in this episode's description.